The Odyssey, the burden of homecoming. It was a cruel game, played by the gods. As Troy's walls collapsed into a sea of fire, Odysseus, king of Ithaca, felt no triumph, only a cold, creeping dread. He had believed human brilliance could outwit divine will, and for that arrogance, he paid with a decade of drifting across a timeless ocean. Is a man's life not a fragile balance between what he wins and what he loses? Faced with Poseidon's relentless fury, Odysseus was forced to strip away his very identity, becoming nobody just to survive. In the Cyclops' cave, the sharpened stake he swung was more than a weapon. It was the raw, desperate instinct of a man refusing to die. Neither the intoxicating charm of Circe nor Calypso's promise of eternal youth could break his resolve. His drive to return wasn't just a story of romantic longing. It was a deeper, more primal need to reclaim his place in the world. Surrounded by magic that turned men into animals and gods who never aged, he chose the path of a mortal, to grow old and die as long as it was on his own soil, defending his own name. 20 years felt like an eternity, as agonizing as a salmon fighting a lethal current. When he finally stepped onto the shores of Ithaca, the earth felt cold and unfamiliar. His palace was a chaotic mess, overrun by suitors who had turned his home into a den of greed. They had treated his absence as an invitation to lawlessness. Dressed in a beggar's rags, Odysseus watched them in silence, feeling not just anger, but the heavy burden of a king forced to reclaim a broken world. When his fingers finally gripped the massive bow, it was no longer just a piece of wood and string. It was his history, reclaimed in an instant. As the bow snapped and the arrows found their marks, the chaos was finally silenced. Ithaca was purged, not with words, but with blood. Yet, look closely at the king. There is no joy in his victory, only a hollow emptiness. His reunion with Penelope wasn't filled with cinematic tears. It was a quiet, weary recognition between two survivors who had endured too much. The man who left for Troy never truly came back. The ghosts of his fallen comrades and the eyes of the men he killed were now a permanent part of his soul. Ultimately, we are all caught in the vast web of fate. Odysseus didn't become a hero because he made it home. He became a human because he endured the impossible journey to get there. The waves continue to crash against the cliffs of Ithaca. His travels are over, but the storm inside him will never truly settle.